whenever you're ready, an opening comment.
I just really, just thankful for the win. I thought it was a hard-fought one. I mean, Clemson always, they just play so tough. They never quit. They really are just a hard-charging team for 40 minutes. And so I'm proud of how we had to really handle some adversity down the stretch and continue to score the ball. So that was really, really important. They took advantage of some things as far as just pounding that ball inside with Robinson, but I thought we made a couple of adjustments there that kind of slowed her down a little bit the last few minutes of the game when we had to. But proud of this young team having to really find ways to battle and be good, down the stretch. So we'll take that win and move on to the next one.
I imagine when your team took the court, Kramer and Robinson were two names you wouldn't let them forget throughout the game.
They have their big three, which we would say would be Robinson, Kramer, and Harris. And so, Kramer, at the beginning of the game, a couple of them got loose for threes, and there it is, 6-zip, I think it was, before we scored. And we were trying to trap them a little bit, but they were finding the one open pass on the floor. It's like, good God, like they knew what we were doing, but, whatever. So they hit those, but what they end up 7 for 27, so at least it wasn't 9, at least they didn't hit 9. But, so anyway, but yeah, I think that Kramer is a really, really good shooter, and she doesn't take a lot of time to get her shot off. She's tough to guard, really, really tough to guard. So just glad to get away, to win this one without, without her just really going off on us. 4 for 10 is pretty good about going off, but anyway, yeah, she's a nice player.
Down in front.
Hope that was a destroyed thing. There was a couple. I know at the end of what was it, 4-17, I think. Near in the fourth quarter, there was a possession where they came down and defense didn't look. It looked at me. Offense looked maybe a tad lackadaisical, and they got an easy steal. It came down the court, and I think you took Tony out right there. Is that? What were you noticing there? What did you tell Tony right after? Because that seemed like a pivotal possession.
Well,
there.
she was dealing with cramps, so she was a little bit limited with what she was able to do. So she has that problem, that we're trying to get a grip on, but it's been hard. So, we were just really fortunate, really proud of Sydney Johnson. I thought Sydney came in and played a really good floor game for Tony, and also she was in the game with Tony. So she is versatile enough to be able to do both. So that was really thought that was big because we're used to having Tony on the floor, but I'm really proud of him. When I sit here and really had some time to sit and think about it, but for us to play down the stretch without her a lot and really make our move without her and to get a little bit of a lead was big. And also we had to play without Cara Dunn for the majority of the first half. That's huge for us to go into halftime. We're ahead without Cara Dunn being on the floor. So that's something that's showing me a little bit that this team is got a little grit about them and a little toughness about them. That's good to see.
As you mentioned, Kara went out early with foul trouble. How huge was that, and what did you really notice from your group in that period?
Yeah, it was just really unfortunate. I thought both of her calls were really kind of suspect. They could have easily been no calls because they were nothing, not much of anything. So. But I thought we were just resilient there. I thought Aisha Wanaranas came in and just really, she played well. I think she scored pretty quick off, when she came in. And she brings so much experience to the floor. Let me look at her stat line, 1 for 2, 1 rebound. But it's, her stat line doesn't always jump out at you, but defensively, she knows what's going on out there. And it's incredibly helpful. She's talks, she moves, she's really good communicator out on the floor, and that's important. Doesn't always show up in a stat sheet, but it's important on the floor.
On the same subject, going down the stretch, you had a so-called smaller lineup on the floor, your original starting lineup. It seemed with without someone in the middle defensively, you had multiple players going to the basket, and that really helped your rebounding.
Yeah. Yeah, when we had, was that when Kara was in the game? Was Kara in the game or not in the game? Kara was. Kara is such a versatile player. We can really do so much more when she's on the floor. We can move her around a lot, and that is a luxury to have. So when she's on the floor, the other moving parts of what we do become much smoother. So, we were trying to get that ball at the free throw line area and try to attack them from there, and she makes that a lot easier for us to do. So hopefully she doesn't get in foul trouble on Sunday.
Did this feel like one of y'all's more well-rounded games? Free throws were in a better spot. Turnovers weren't terrible. Everyone was getting points, and assists were happening. Kayla had a double-double. Did you get that sense?
I see what you're saying. I see where you're going, but it's interesting. I don't know. I guess I can see what you're saying there. Normally, because we had to play kids, we had to play kids that weren't used to playing a lot of minutes because of our foul trouble and because Tony goes, with the cramps, and we had to just kind of do some things that were a little different. But I want to be able to play kids like Ari Termas needs to get on the floor and get minutes. And so she got a few minutes today, but I would like to get her more if I can. So we're going to keep trying to do that. But when you have to play, the nervous thing is when you have to play kids when kids are in foul trouble. That's the tough part because you can't sub them back in. And now you're just, hoping that kids are ready to play. And I thought we were today, so that was good.
I asked Kayla, does winning make it easier to go to practice? And from your perspective, when your next practice after a win, do you see the team maybe going about it a little harder than maybe they would after a loss? Or, what's your perspective on how the psychological part of practicing?
I wouldn't say that. I think they're pretty steady with who they are. Again, because I think of our youth is it's like they're kids. So, some practices are better than others. I wouldn't say it's any different coming in after a win. They're just, they're waiting for the next scouting report. They're waiting to, finish this film up from tonight. So there's a process and a routine to what we do. So it's pretty much, it's business. It's business. Let's go. We got to practice. Let's get this done. Let's, put the game plan in for the next game and roll.
Anything else?
Thanks, y'all.
Thanks.